Today, I'm going to do an after-action report on Undaunted, Battle of Britain. This is a game from David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin and published by Osprey Games. And you're probably familiar with Undaunted if you've seen some of my coverage before or just aware of it, that it started off primarily as a land game, dealing with the Western Front and North Africa and having tiles where you're going to be moving units to capture locations on the tile or to eliminate other units. And the primary way you do that is through cards. There's going to be a deck of cards that you're going to use. Each side has their own unique cards that represent the units that are on the board and have special abilities. That is the base game, which has also has been translated into the Eastern Front through Stalingrad and more of a legacy game, and then into this game, the Battle of Britain. So it's gone to the skies. So this is how I finished up on scenario 1. I'll do it after action, and then I'll talk a little bit about gameplay. As well as I'll put links to my playlist for Undaunted and for the unboxing of this game, Battle of Britain, in the description. But this was scenario 1, First Contact, the Battle of France, North France, 23rd May 1940. The British Air Forces in France supported the British Expeditionary Force and the bomber operations of the Advanced Air Striking Force. Skirmishes between RAF and Luftwaffe fighters were common. On 23rd May, British squadrons surprised German Bf-109s in northern France in a contest that would result in losses for both sides. So this is the setup. There's where the units start on the board, and you still have tiles. There's water on the back and then land on the front of some of them, and each scenario has their own kind of unique setup. And this was the setup for scenario 1 and where the aircraft started. And this is where how you started off your deck. So this is a deck builder. So you're going to be creating a deck of cards and then drawing 4 cards, using one of them for initiative and then using the other 3 for actions on your turn. And the start off the deck is the ones that have a D and a dark circle. Those start off in the deck, and the S in the open circle means that it's in supply. It means that you have to use some of the special abilities, usually some of the leadership abilities or command abilities, to bring those cards into play, meaning into the deck, into the discard pile. Then when you shuffle back in, you'll be able to start using those cards. Again, this is very much a deck builder. Plus it has these discord cards, which are basically clog your cards. They have very low initiative value and then nothing else. So they just basically clog your deck or slow down your play. So that's how the game is set up. The way you win the game is RAF objective is 2 enemy aircraft neutralize, and Luftwaffe neutralize 3 enemy aircraft. Now, how do you neutralize something? Well, the way you neutralize it is you have to have a successful attack. Attacking is relatively easy in this game. You're going to use an 8-sided die. You're going to add up the number of spaces between you and the enemy, and then look at the enemy's protection value. So 5, and if you were 2 spaces away, that's a 7, and you'd have to roll a 7 or higher on these dice, on these 8-sided dice, which is kind of hard. Plus, if there's aircraft in between you, that could add to the defense as well. So that's combat. When you get a hit, then the opponent has to, if let's say this was got hit, if this is in your hand, you'd remove it from your hand. That's the first place. If it's not in your hand, then you check your discard pile, and if it's in your discard pile, then you remove it from play. And then if it's not there, you go into your deck and remove it from play. And if it's not in your hand, the discard pile or the deck, then the token comes off the board, and that means it is neutralized. That means it can never come back into play during this scenario. So in this one, the RAF needed to neutralize 2, and they did. They neutralized the R1 and the R2 of the Bf-109Es. And so that's how they end up winning this scenario. The Germans were pretty close to their victory condition. They had neutralized a Defiant and a Hurricane on their side, and they were very close to very close to getting another hurricane, but they kind of were able the hurricanes were able to kind of fly away or escape from that fire. There is a firing arc on the plane, so you know what you can hit, and these have to be facing a hex side. Some of these units have kind of different firing arcs because they have, like, tail gunners and the like. So this one is kind of all over the place there. Um, and that's basically the game. You're going to be drawing cards from the deck. Start off with 4 cards, and then you would look at what you want to use for initiative. This is the initiative number. So if you're in a position where you're kind of tailing somebody or have an advantageous position, then you probably want to have the higher initiative, because then you can use your cards to do the attack. The cards do different things. This is a section comm, so this is more of a commander type thing. Bolster gets cards out from the supply to your deck. That's one of those actions. Command allows you to draw 2 cards. So if you don't like the cards you have, you might play the command if you didn't use it for initiative, and try to get some cards, some more options to play for that turn. Move is just that maneuver lets you turn a hex side, because remember, facing is very important in this game, and then attack is just that. The first number you get to roll if you're just anywhere except behind, and if you're tailing or behind the person or behind the plane, then you get you're attacking from behind. You get the roll 2 dice, and again you have to roll the hit is the number minus you have to roll over the defense plus the spaces away. So how does this play compared to the other Undaunted series? Well, as I said, the other Undaunted series was all land-based. So controlling different areas, you're not controlling any areas here. This is all in the sky. It was all about scouting and maneuvering, to moving and trying to build up an attack with your units and having support of those units. And then North Africa added vehicles. So a little bit different game. This is all about maneuver. This is all about flying around the skies and trying to get in the sights, get your enemy in the sights and attack them. I mean, there's some new stuff in here that at least I wasn't familiar with it, like guide, which allows you to move and change facing. As I said, this game is all about maneuvering. You can get, swing too wide or start to go off a map. And of course, if you go off the map, then it's going to stop you from going off the map, and then you have to change your facing. But you can start swinging too far wide if you move, and it takes you a while to get back to a spot where you can actually line up a shot. And that's why you're going to need several of these cards in a row, like they're here, if I had these 3 Y1s, you can maneuver and then move and do all kinds of stuff to get in a place to do an attack. But if you only have one of those cards, then you can't maneuver unless you move after that. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get in, to get the enemy in your sight. So like this game, it does a good job of recreating air combat in a different manner. I've got a lot of air games, and have covered a lot of air games and played a lot of air games. This one handles it in a different manner. With this deck building, it's a different way of approach and a different perspective, and it does a decent job of it. This was an interesting battle. Now, some of the more complicated battles gets a little bit more convoluted and trying to fly around, but you also have some more units that you might be able to take shots at. Plus, there's some rules in the more complicated scenarios for bombing. And if you get flipped over, which is kind of the old suppressed in the ground game, for the RAF, that means they're grounded, so you can get a chance to bomb them. And if it's the Luftwaffe, it's a different manner there. So anyway, that is the Battle of Britain, Undaunted Battle of Britain. Definitely worth a try. If you like the Undaunted series, then this does take it to a different place and plays somewhat the same. I mean, a lot of the concepts are exactly the same, but it does give you a totally different feel with maneuvering aircraft around the board. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching.